All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. If you have not done so yet, please follow the link that I have once again put into the chat. And we are going to use this to interact with each other during class today. So thank you for being awesome. And here we go. Let's see who we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Oh, that's okay, Harry. Harry, if you can click the link that I shared in the chat, then you can type your name and add yourself to the list. There's obviously a couple of other people that have not jumped into the Nearpod. So Harry will get in there. Isaiah, okay, yes, Isaiah's there, Jackson's there. Okay, Julia, so if you'll click on the link that is in the chat, that'll take you to the Nearpod. I'm seeing you, Kat's there, Mahala's there, Reagan, Rosie's there, Isabella, Wyatt, and Zion. Okay, cool. All right, excellent. There we go. Now we got it. Okay, let's get started. So today we are going to start by talking about overcoming stage fright. I think everybody has experienced a time that they were nervous about something. And I think this is a really important discussion to have as we move into Unit 2, because now we're talking more about formal presentations. We're talking more about interacting and communicating with more than one person, and it can feel a little bit scary. So if I can have somebody, if there's somebody that wants to volunteer to read the quote, or I can just pick on somebody. But we have this quote here by comedian Jerry Seinfeld. Is there anybody that wants to read it, or am I just gonna have to pick on somebody? Okay, Mahala. I'm gonna pick on Mahala.
According to most studies, people's number one fear is public speaking. Number 2 is death. Death is number 2. Does that sound right? This means to the average person, if you go to a funeral, you're better off in the casket than doing it the
eulogy. Yeah, it's like the life sketch. Okay, so Jerry Seinfeld's a comedian, and he's like, death is number 2. Like, that doesn't even make any sense. Like, people's number one fear is public speaking. And this is funny, but it's also true. Public speaking is still the number one fear that people have compared to anything, okay? So I'm gonna ask you guys a question. What is your fear? What is something that you fear? So if you look at the Nearpod, it should be popping up here in just a second. What are the things that you fear? What are some things that scare you? Maybe public speaking is one of those things. Maybe it's spiders, maybe it's heights. So use the little answer box in the Nearpod and share your fears with us. And I'll tell you mine right away. I am irrationally afraid of heights. I am so scared of heights. I hate it so much. Yeah, you can definitely submit more than one. Just type it out in your, it's just a short answer box. So, excuse me. Yes, you can definitely add a couple in there. So what is it that you fear? What is scary to you? Okay. And then we will, ooh, these are good. Yes, snakes, spiders, the deep ocean. Yes. Not getting a new computer on Christmas, I think that's more of a disappointment, not so much something that you are afraid of. You might be worried. Death of a loved one, yes. Being left alone, oh my gosh, guys, these are good. These are really good. Horror movies, social situations, bad grades, oh my gosh. Rug displays. Okay, that's an interesting one. These are interesting. Dryden, Jackson, what are you afraid of? Yeah, definitely alone. I don't like that. Deep water, yes. Yes, fear of the unknown. Lexi, what are you afraid of? Some people are afraid of being abandoned, getting attacked. Oh my gosh, hot metal. That's an interesting one. Some people aren't really scared. That's okay. Heights, yes. Yes. Oh, yes. The election. Thrift stores with really old stuff. Yes. Tight spaces. Oh, yes. I'm with you. Oh my gosh. When I lived in China, I was on the 29th floor of a 32-story building. Oh, yes. Falling down on an unstable ladder. Oh my gosh. That is super scary. Oh my gosh. You guys have, yes, claustrophobic. Some people are not very scared. Awesome. Okay. So, I think I can share. Maybe I might not be able to share it so everybody can see it, but thank you for sharing your fears. It is scary. Like things are scary in life. And I'm going to go ahead and close that one. And we're going to pop back into our slides here. A lot of people are afraid of public speaking. Yeah, it is. It's scary. I don't know why this is, there we go. Okay, sweet. Okay, so here we are. Jerry Seinfeld was like, seriously, does that sound right? So a lot of people are afraid of speaking in public. Why do you think people are afraid of public speaking? Why does it feel so scary? What do you think? Elliot, what do you think?
Because it's super easy to mess up, and then when you do, it's really embarrassing.
Yeah, right? You don't want to be embarrassed. What are some other reasons people might be afraid of speaking in public?
Being judged.
Yes, being judged. Oh my gosh, that's like everybody's looking at you. Rosie, what do you think?
Possibly like it's just a whole thing. I feel with like our generation where we don't like talking to people. Like even like asking for ketchup. That's no, we don't do that. You just don't. I guess. So public speaking is like
10
asking
times
for
worse.
ketchup amplified 10 times.
Yes, it feels really vulnerable, right? It's like, oh my God, everybody is looking at me and I'm going to mess up and it's going to be so embarrassing and there's so much pressure. It's so scary, okay? But I hope that today I can help make it be a little bit less scary and give you some tools to help you so that you don't feel as scared, okay? That's my hope. All right. So here you go. Here's your opportunity to tell us whether or not you experience or if you ever have experienced stage fright. Some of you specifically put public speaking in your fears, but let's take a look at what percentage of people experience stage fright. I do. And I've been giving speeches and teaching public speaking for longer than you've been alive. I've been doing this for like, since I started as a freshman, almost 20 years that I've been doing this and learning about it. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. So there's a little poll on your Nearpod. It's just a simple yes or no. Do you experience stage fright or have you ever, like in general, let's see what percentage of our class experiences stage fright. Because I think knowing that other people are kind of there with you is helpful. It's nice. But also just seeing like, okay, what's, how do people feel? So I'm still waiting on a couple people, Delrico and Dryden. Sometimes the internet has been slow today. Isaiah. So on your Nearpod, you should be able to click that little answer. There we go. Now we're getting it. I think we're just waiting. Delrico, is yours frozen? No, I don't know what's going on. All right, cool. So there we go. Okay, so I'm going to share the little graph now. So 60% of our class experiences stage fright in general, okay? So that's more than half. Okay, we have probably all experienced stage fright at some point. So there are some things that you need to know about stage fright. So first thing you need to know, stage fright is normal. Most people experience some level of nervousness when they get ready to speak. You know, in the 20 years that I've been doing this, nobody has ever died, vomited, or passed out in my speech class or when giving a speech at a competition. Now, I know that sometimes people do get sick, and I know that some people have fainted, but in the 20 years that I've been doing this and the hundreds and hundreds of students that I've taught speech to, I've never had a student that passed out or died or got sick during their speech or anything like that. So you need to know that stage fright is normal. Number two, your audience probably won't even notice it. You're gonna feel all these things. You're gonna feel like your face is really bright red. You're gonna feel a little bit shaky, but most of the time your audience isn't going to notice it. And even if they do, they're gonna like be with you. They're gonna empathize with you and they're gonna be like, dude, I feel you. Yes, like we're gonna be sending you good energy to help you overcome that nervousness. And then third, experience and practice will help. There is no fast cure for overcoming stage fright. The only thing that I have found in my 20 years of experience is experience and practice. Forcing yourself to get up there and doing it, facing your fear and kind of sucking it up and doing it. That's the only thing that's going to make it less or reduce over time. The more you give a speech, the more you're going to feel comfortable and you're not going to have as much nervousness. But even now, even as a 20-year veteran with an expert with a master's degree, like I still get nervous when I have to give speeches. And in fact, the first day of school is usually the most scary for me because it's like giving a speech in front of a whole brand new audience. So I still get stage fright. I still get nervous, but we're going to talk about some things to continue helping us reduce that, right? So next little poll question. In general, yes or no, do you like or do you enjoy activities like roller coasters or whitewater rafting? These would be what I would call like extreme sports or risky activities. Are these the kinds of things that you really like? Are you the person who loves to go to the amusement park and do the most insane things? Would you ever go skydiving? Would you ever go bungee jumping? Or maybe have you done these things? So again, a simple yes or no. Is this your jam or not so much? Like let's take a look at this and see kind of where you fall. And some of you may be like, well, I would do a roller coaster, but not skydiving. Okay, that's fine. Just go with roller coaster. I'm not going to force you to do any of these things. I just want to see like in general kind of where you're at. Do you tend to enjoy those kind of like intense activities, or you're like, nah, I'm cool. I don't want to, cliff jump or those kinds of things. So all right, I'm going to give you another couple of seconds. A few other people are thinking about it. Okay. All right, I'm going to share right now. There's still a couple of people that I don't see an answer for just yet, but about 60% of you are saying yes, you like these kinds of exhilarating activities. So I'm going to pick on a couple of people. Reagan, why do you like some of these extreme activities? What about it appeals to you?
I guess just the adrenaline of it.
Okay. Okay, cool. Zion, how about you? Why do you like these extreme sports or these extreme activities?
Oh, I don't know. I just enjoy them because I don't know, they're quite fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just basically fun.
Yeah. So for those of you who answered yes, do you feel like it's a sense of like exhilaration, like a rush? Delrico, what do you think?
I was going to say I like risky activities because of the sense of accomplishment. So when you accomplish risky activities, you get bragging rights. You
Yeah,
can tell
you're
your
like, I
friends who
survived.
hasn't done it.
Okay, cool, cool. So do you guys think it is this sense of exhilaration also that appeals to you? Give me like a thumbs up or thumbs down. What do you think? I mean, Del Rico was talking about the accomplishment. Um, why do you like these crazy things? Because I am the type of person who does not like those things. I do not like roller coasters. I have no desire to ever go skydiving or bungee jumping. That is not my jam. My friends are always the ones that are like trying to like drag me onto the roller coasters at the amusement park and trying to convince me that it's going to be a great time, and I really don't like it. So
That's the
go ahead.
that's the reason that I do these things. It's like, have your parents ever asked you, oh, if your friends jumped off a bridge, would you? Yes, I would.
You want to just
So
like
that's
prove
like
them
the
wrong.
reason I get myself in these
You
situations.
want to eliminate that argument from your parents. Okay, we're going to talk about that sense of exhilaration in just a minute. But first, we're going to talk about another technique that you can use to help you calm down and feel less nervous before you give your speech. So the first thing is prepare for your speech carefully and completely. I cannot stress this enough. Practice giving your speech out loud. That's going to help you just like get used to the sound of your own voice. The more prepared you are, the more confident and comfortable you're going to feel. I'm not saying you have to memorize your speech. Nobody in the really real world memorizes their speeches, or I would say very, very few people. Most people have teleprompters or notes of some kind. They don't memorize their speeches, but they are prepared. They practice. They have their outline. They know what they're going to say. Okay. Number 2 says, look your best. Now, you are not required to dress up for any of the speeches in this class. You know, later on in your jobs or in other presentations, you might be asked to dress professionally, but that's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about is wear clothes that make you feel confident. Your clothing can have a big impact on giving you a positive attitude. If you feel good about how you look, that confidence is going to help you feel less nervous. Number 3, relax. Relax your muscles a little bit. Take a deep breath. Try to calm yourself down. And then 4 and 5 are similar. This has to do with that positive self-talk that we learned about in Unit 1. Give yourself a pep talk. Be self-assured. Tell yourself you can do this. You're going to be just fine. It's going to be okay. Give yourself that positive affirmation. Okay. So here's your next question. This is another like open answer, so you can type as much as you need. How can we take that nervous energy that we might have when we're giving a speech and turn those emotions and feelings into a sense of exhilaration, like when we're getting ready to ride a roller coaster? So it was interesting when you guys answered the questions. About 60% of you were like, yeah, I get stage fright. But then 60% of you also were like, I love risky, crazy, ridiculous things. So when you are getting ready to ride that roller coaster and it seems so fun, you know, you have this different mindset. What would you say to me, the person who hates roller coasters? How would you help me feel differently to get on that roller coaster? Basically, how would you take my nervous energy and try to turn it into a sense of exhilaration? Okay, so think about that in terms of your speech as well. How do we take that nervous energy and turn it into a sense of exhilaration? This is kind of what you have to do. If you have a lot of stage fright, I want you to try to change your mindset a little bit. Try to be like, okay, how would I feel if I was getting ready to get on that awesome roller coaster? Okay, maybe tell yourself that the speech is going to be fun, or like Del Rico said, it's a sense of accomplishment. Like, phew, I did it. I didn't die. I did that speech there. I gave that speech, right? How do we take that nervous energy and turn it into exhilaration? Elliot says, try to change your mindset into something more positive. I like that. Ooh, I like this one. Wyatt says, you can have other people go with you so that you can be scared with them, and then it might not be as scary. It's more like a group presentation. So in speaking, even if you have to do your speech by yourself, when we're in class, we can remember like, oh yeah, everybody's in this with me. We're all in this together. We all have to do this speech. They're not, they don't want me to fail. They want me to be successful. I like this one. Pretend you're going to do something fun. Yes. Instead of giving a speech, that's a good idea. Okay, try to change your mindset. Just do it. Like you have nothing else to like fear. I like that. Like it's just you doing it. Just do it and do it scared and like it's gonna be what it's gonna be. I like that, Jackson. Deep breaths and happy thoughts. Yes, yes. Lots of deep breathing and happy thoughts. Yes, kind of like fake it till you make it, right? Like give yourself that positive mantra. Oh, I like this. Alex says, tell myself that I'm more epic than everyone and they won't care. Yes, it's like it's going to be epic. It's either going to be epically amazing or an epic fail. Either way, it's going to be epic. And that is in and of itself awesome, right? So we have to change our mindset a little bit. Yeah, pump yourself up. Get pumped up. Get pumped up. Yes, good. Turn it into a game. Oh, I love these. These are awesome. Yes. Act as if the audience you're going to talk to has never even heard of the subject. Then you are the ultimate expert. You're like, I know everything. Yes, these are so good. You guys got it. Just do it. You got to just relax. Oh, I like that. Use a stress ball. Just stay calm. Yes, we're going to talk about some of those things too. Del Rico, yeah. Tell yourself to just suck it up, basically. Stop being a wuss and just do it. Just go. Claire, oh my gosh, that's funny. Okay, yes.
Okay, I mean my prescription anxiety meds when I say that.
Yes, I feel you. I totally feel you there.
And just do it outside.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. I am a person who also has been diagnosed with anxiety and I have to take medication for that. So make sure if you have medication, you're taking your meds regularly. These are so good. Work your way up to it. Okay, yeah, Isaiah, I like that. Maybe don't immediately do a 30-minute speech. You just do it in little bits. That's kind of what we're doing in this class. You had your 2-minute little introduction presentation, and then you had like a 5-minute team presentation. And yeah, we're gonna keep going it. Yes, these are so good, guys. These are awesome. All right, let's move on to the next thing. So here are some things that you can do to relax a little bit, all right? I'm not gonna read through these step by step, but these are all ways to just help you relax. So I mentioned a minute ago that I have anxiety that I have to take medication for. So number 1, take your meds. Number 2, these are things that I use not just when I'm feeling nervous about giving a speech, but to just maintain and manage my anxiety outside of that. Sometimes I have to close my eyes and take some 3 slow breaths. I like to roll my neck around a little bit, roll my shoulders, especially sitting in front of Zoom all day. My shoulders get really tight. Okay, do like a contraction and relax. Contract and relax, that's helpful. And then having those positive statements. Okay, I can do this, I'm gonna rock. All right, so during your speech, you might experience some of these things, and these are really, really normal. This is just our body's like normal, like biological response to fear, okay? And these are totally okay. These are not things that your audience is likely ever going to notice. You might feel a little bit nervous in your stomach. You might have a dry mouth. It's okay to have water. There's no rule anywhere that says you can't have some water. It's okay to take a moment and have a sip of water. If you're worried about stumbling or if you have a stutter, slow down a little bit. Just go slow. If you're worried about being sweaty or having a squeaky voice, just do that positive sort of mantra, okay? There are other types of relaxation techniques that you can learn as well if you are really, really nervous about giving a presentation. You can do a progressive muscle relaxation, a visualization, or like a combination of those things. I'm not going to read through these, but you guys can definitely check those out after I post the slides onto our Google Classroom. And we're going to take a quick shift here because I have another slide to share with you. So let's close out that one, and I'll pop a new link up for you in just a moment. So I'm going to give you a new code in the chat as well as a new link. Okay, so I'm going to post the code first, and then here is the link that you can go to. So if you're in like join.nearpod.com, you can type that code in, and here is the direct link to go to our second set of slides. If you need to jump up really fast, get a drink of water before we switch gears here, please go ahead and do that. Just hold everyone's oh my hair, oh my gosh. Oh, you guys are awesome. Okay. Just check this out for a second. All right, take a moment and just pop into that other slide. Let's see if anybody else made it to our class today. Oh yes, Julia made it. Did Jet make it? Nope, I don't see Jet or JR or Cameron. Okay, all right. Okay. Excuse me. All right. Here we go. All right, who are we missing? All right, we're missing a couple people. Let's see who's missing from our Nearpod. Who has not made it into our Nearpod yet? Okay, let's see. Alex, Lexi, did you get into the Nearpod? There's Claire, Darian, Delrico, I don't see you yet. Jordan's there, Ellie's there, Hannah, Harry. Ike, did you get the new code? There we go. Isaiah, Jackson, Julia, Kari, Kat, Michaela, Reagan, Rosie, Isabella, Wyatt. Okay, sweet. Okay. Did Lexi get kicked out? No? I don't know. Oh, there we go. We're getting it. We're getting it. Okay, I still don't see Alex on my Nearpod. Okay, so the link is there. So hopefully, Alex, you can get jumped in. All right, so we're going to talk about the basics of presentation and specifically how to get organized. So when we were doing our last speech, you guys had some good content, you had some good evidence and details and data, but some of you really struggled with your organization. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today in the second half of class is getting organized. This is going to help you just like have a clear idea of what it is that you are going to do when you give a speech. So give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. How many of you have had to use an outline for a presentation before? Okay, good. What are some advantages of using an outline? How about Kat? What's an advantage of using an outline?
It can help you know what key points to hit while you're speaking.
Yeah. Wyatt, can you think of any disadvantages to using an outline?
Yeah, you might not be able to express all the information in the way you want to.
Yeah, I like that. You know, there are a lot of different types of outlines, and I hope that the outline style that I teach you is more helpful than it is limiting, because I don't want you to feel limited. I want you to feel like you have enough flexibility to include the information that you want. And here's the other thing, like an outline should be really just for you as the speaker. Like if you are right there in the moment and you feel like you need to shift things out of order, or if you forget something, or if you think of something you want to add, you should feel flexible being able to do that, okay? Nobody in the audience is going to know that you rearranged things or added something extra, except for maybe me, because you will have to turn in an outline, but I'm not gonna ever mark you down for that. The outline should be like, think of it kind of like a meeting agenda, to be like, hey, these are the points that we're going to cover at some point today. And yeah, we want to keep it in that order, but you should have the flexibility to include the information that you want to include. Really, the only time that you should feel like limited is just by your time limit. You know, I always feel limited by my time limit because I always want to talk for way longer than I have time for. So that's just me. So hopefully the outline format that I teach you today will be really helpful. So let's take a look at some of the basics. Why do we even need to know about organization or any of this? So there is this theory that has been discussed a lot by a wide variety of scholars in communication, and it's often referred to as the rule of three, okay? And the rule of three basically was discussed because human beings do not remember things well. We really are not good at remembering things. We need to have repetition over and over again, okay? And so the rule of three helps you connect better with your audience, and it increases the chance that they are going to remember at least your main ideas, okay? So the rule of three breaks down something like this. First, you need to have some kind of introduction beginning where you say, hey, this is what I'm going to talk to you about today. As good teachers, we try to do this by giving you a little like objective. Hey, this is what we're going to cover today. Any of your TED Talks or any of your great speakers are going to present your thesis or your topic or something to be like, hey, these are the points that we're going to cover, right? Then we get into the details. This is the, like, you can think of this as the body of your speech. This is the tell them part, okay, where you're giving them the details and giving them examples. And then you need a conclusion. This is the part that new speakers most often forget. You just completely forget to give a conclusion. You need to restate your thesis or your overall idea. This is the tell them what you told them point of the rule of three. So to the speaker, it feels really repetitive, okay? But to the audience, this is super helpful, okay? Tell them what you're going to tell them, then tell it to them, and then tell them what you told them, all right? Feels repetitive to you as the speaker, but it's really important for your audience. And in formal speeches, you need to care more about your audience than you, okay? You need to care more about how your audience connects to you. So let's take a look at this basic speech structure. So this should be familiar to you already. The basic speech structure consists of three elements: the introduction, body, and conclusion. This is the same as any essay that you will write. Pretty much any kind of written communication that's like formalized is going to have this idea at least of like a thesis statement, the details, and then a restatement. Like you are always going to break things down into this three-part idea. So we're going to talk about what goes into each of these three pieces, okay? We're talking about formal communication, formal speeches, and we're talking a lot about structure. So when you guys gave your speeches on issues in free speech, I think everybody told me their thesis statement, okay? Most everybody told me what issue you were talking about in your speech. But your introduction needs a little bit more, okay? It needs a little bit more. So the first thing you need to do is gain the audience's attention. Get them thinking about your topic. Get them interested in it somehow, okay? You need to also have that thesis statement, all right? And you need to have a preview statement where you give a quick overview of your main points, all right? So I have a little matching activity coming up, and I want you to match the word attention getter, thesis, or preview statement with the definition. So check out your Nearpod and give that a try. I'm going to give you a minute or two to do the little matching activity. Match the word with the definition, okay? And if you get it wrong, you can try again. Yeah, give that a try. All right, most people are, we got a lot of people. I'm just gonna grab some more water really fast while you guys finish up that little matching activity. Okay, my beautiful humans, it looks like everybody has had a chance to give that a try. So let's take a look-see here. Oh, I guess Kari and Alex still are working on it, but let's take a look-see here. So attention getter, the definition for that is this is what gains the audience's attention and makes them want to listen to you. Your thesis statement clearly outlines the explicit purpose or topic of the speech. And then the preview statement explicitly outlines the main ideas or the points of the speech that this is used to support the thesis, okay? We're gonna talk more about this in just a second. So here are a few ways that you can gain your audience's attention and get them to start thinking about your topic. You can ask some rhetorical questions. You can start with a statistic. You can use humor as long as it's really strongly connected to your topic and it needs to be appropriate for your audience. You can use a quick story called an anecdote or a quote. There are a lot of different ways that you can gain the audience's attention. So then we move into the body of our speech, and this is where you start to develop those main ideas. So the introduction of your speech might start out with, did you know that there are over, 73 breeds of dogs? So there's my attention getter. Today I'm going to teach you all about how to take care of your pet dog. That's my thesis. And then my preview statement, I'm going to talk to you about their diet, their grooming, and how to train them. Okay, those are my 3 main points. So that was my introduction. Okay, so now we're going into the body. So the first thing that you're going to do is, oh, what main ideas did I give them? Oh, their diet. Okay, and this is where you would start giving all of those details and examples. And then you would move into the grooming of the dog, and then you would move into how to train them. Okay, so the body of the speech is where you put all of those details. So here is a quick 3-question quiz with different hypotheticals. If you were giving a speech about taking care of dogs and your first main point was their diet, which detail would fit in this body paragraph? Okay. So give that a moment. When you get to number 3, I realized that I made a little bit of a mistake when I put the question in. So if you get it wrong, don't fret, because I'm going to tell you what the correct answer is. So you probably actually did get it correct. Ooh, it looks like most people got it correct on question 1. Question 2 says, if my speech was about learning to play the piano, what 3 main ideas would be best for a beginner audience? And then question number 3 says, if your speech was about the history of American football, what would be the most engaging attention getter? All of these are good attention getters, but which one's going to be most engaging? And when I made this question, there were actually 2 that I thought would be equally as engaging. And I thought that it would give you a correct mark if you picked either one of those, but I guess it wanted you to pick both of those. So don't fret, we're going to go over the answers here in a second. All right. Kari, are you with me? Alex, are you with me? Have you been able to get onto the Nearpod? What's going on there? Are you having trouble? You can chat with me. Are you with me in some way? All right, so the answer to the first question, if my speech were about taking care of dogs, the detail that would fit best would be answer B. Most dog food should include at least 20% protein because we're talking all about their diet. Question 2, if my speech was about learning to play the piano, the correct answer is letter C. Your main ideas could include like the parts of a piano, the basic music scale, and then the basics of sheet music. I don't think that a beginner audience would be ready to learn. I mean, you could tell them a little bit about classical pianists, but they may not be at a point to write their own music or producing it to sell. And then if we're talking about types of pianos, and that's not really relevant, okay? Question number 3, if your speech was about the history of American football, I wanted you to look at answers C and D. These are probably a little bit more engaging than the first 2. So showing a clip of a football play or bringing in a football to demonstrate a throw, those are going to be really engaging. These are all good attention getters though, okay? So if you don't have a clip of a football play, or if you don't know how to throw it, you just know a lot about it, you could do either of the first 2. All right, good job. Most of you did a great job. All right. So as we wrap up today, the last thing that I want to talk about is transitions. Transitions help link everything together, and using good transitions help make your speech and essay even flow and sound better. And there are 2 types of transitions. Main idea or paragraph transitions, these would be words like to begin with or in conclusion. And then internal transitions show details like for example or according to blah, blah, blah. We are going to finish up the rest of these slides next week, and I will also post these slides in our Google Classroom. Does anybody have any questions before we go today? Thank you so much for participating in our Nearpod and being engaged today. I hope you have a good day and a great weekend, and I will see you guys on Tuesday. Bye. Au revoir, 再见, ciao, adios.